Today's episode is presented by A24's Undertone, in theaters on March 13th. This is the scariest movie you'll ever hear. It follows the host of a popular paranormal podcast who becomes haunted by terrifying recordings mysteriously sent her way. The feature debut of writer-director Ian Dawson has left critics raving. Bloody Disgusting's Joe Lipsett wrote in his 4.5 skull review, "I can't remember the last time a movie made every hair on my body stand up, but Undertone got me good. Hear for yourself and experience Undertone in theaters Friday the 13th. Get tickets now."
A Mochi moment from Sadie, who writes, "I'm not crying, you're crying. This is what I said during my first appointment with my physician at Mochi, because I didn't have to convince him I needed a GLP-1. He understood, and I felt supported, not judged. I came for the weight loss and stayed for the empathy. Thanks, Sadie." I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Sadie is a Mochi member compensated for her story.
Welcome to Scare You to Sleep. I'm your host, Shelby Novak, and I'm going to read you a couple of bedtime stories. Before we begin, I wanted to thank you for the very warm reception I got to the Q&A episode I released earlier this week. After many of you said that you would like a part 2 where I can get to the rest of the questions that I didn't get to, I have heard your cries and I will be doing that. So keep a lookout for another Q&A bonus episode. I've also already gotten a few extra questions since that last episode, so I guess, sure, throw in some questions. I don't know if I'll ever get to all of them, but some of them are repeated, so it is nice to have some fresh questions. So this week for you, I have 2 tales. First up is from Jay Adair, who you have heard on the show before. Jay is an office worker and college instructor. His work has appeared in several publications and podcasts, including Scare You to Sleep, Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, and Hawk and Cleaver's The Other Stories. He's also a drummer and can be heard on recordings with John Creedon and the Flying Hellfish, Chad McCoy, and Just in Time. Visit his website for more on his writing and music, jayadairwriting.com. I'll have that linked in the show notes. This week, Jay has for us, The People Living in My House. Dana flicks the power button on the remote, quieting the roaring television. I'd never known anyone to watch television or listen to music at the ludicrous volume that my wife did. At first, I'd speculated that she was hard of hearing. After that hypothesis was proven incorrect, I'd thought it was simply her signal to me. Do not interrupt me because I am in the zone. That didn't seem to be the case either. Eventually, I came to a simple realization. She is a woman of extremes. I lean against the wall behind her and watch silently as she gets up from the couch, stretches, and ambles into the kitchen. Following behind, I cross my arms and stand in the doorframe. She opens the refrigerator and contemplates her options for a moment, before grabbing out a can of whipped cream. Swinging the fridge door shut, the bottles inside the door rattle, the noise resonating and lingering in the otherwise silent kitchen. She sprays some of the whipped cream directly into her mouth as she leans over the kitchen table, scrolling away absently on her phone. How she keeps that figure with her diet, I'll never know. "You should go to bed. You work early tomorrow," I say to the top of her head. My words sit in the air and drift away, unacknowledged. Her eyes remain locked on her glowing phone screen. She tosses the whipped cream can back into the fridge, yawns loudly, and shuffles off to bed. Upstairs, I sit on the edge of the bed where I can see her through the bathroom door while she brushes her teeth vigorously. Not even her gums are safe from this behavior that I can only describe as excessive. She doesn't just turn up the volume on the television or the stereo, she blares it. She doesn't just close doors and cabinets, she slams them. And, most irritating to me, she doesn't just argue. She fights tooth and nail until she wins. Consequently, this current silent state is nothing new. Despite Dana's proclivity towards noise and chaos, she never had a problem leaving things silent between us to prove a point. In that sense, we are truly a match made in hell, since we both have always seen the initiation of the reconciliation conversation as a sign of weakness. That isn't the problem this time, though. This time, communication just isn't possible. There's a knock at the door. Dana's drowsiness seems to disappear as she tosses down her toothbrush and jogs past me, down the stairs and towards the front door. "Hey, you," I hear her say with a giggle. Great. Just great. A moment later, she emerges in the bedroom, with Carlo in tow. I had a feeling he would be here tonight. It's Friday, so I figured he would be spending the weekend. I take a step towards him and puff out my chest. "You asshole, I'll kill you," I say through gritted teeth. He walks right past me, like he has every night he's ever come over. Of course he does, because I'm not really here. At least, not on his plane of existence. I've been dead about 4 months, from what I can gather. Things have been a little fuzzy since I woke up a few months ago and found myself here, in this house. Why here? I don't know. Maybe it's like in the movies and there's some unfinished business that I'm supposed to attend to or something. Unfortunately, I didn't get a user's manual when I woke up. I can only imagine this is some version of hell. Although I can't figure out what I possibly could have done to deserve having to watch my wife fuck this Carlo asshole in my bed night after night while the dirt covering my coffin hasn't even settled yet. Carlo walks around to my side of the bed and tosses his keys onto my dresser. Dana sits back against her propped-up pillows and watches him. I bend down, close to her face, and stare into her eyes as they look everywhere but at me. Why him? Why did you move on so quickly? How did you move on so quickly? What makes this asshole so appealing? I often talk to her as if she can still see and hear me, just hoping that something is getting through to her, even subconsciously. I initially thought that this exercise might trigger something in me as well and help me figure out what the hell I'm doing here. It's just so damn hard to think straight with him always hanging around. How can I not compare the relationship that I had with Dana to this? Do they fuck more than we did? Does he make her laugh more than I did? Does she just seem happier with him? Unfortunately, I think the answer to all of these questions is yes. Of course, this pisses me off. And sometimes, when I get emotional, angry mostly, and have an outburst of some kind, I see her hesitate. It's almost as if she can sense my presence somehow. Maybe that's what ghosts really are. Old loved ones you left behind, weeping in the corner, longing for the life they can't be a part of anymore. "Want to watch a movie?" she asks him. He gives her a strained look, as if he's struggling through a Rorschach test. Another big middle finger to me. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but this guy is on another level. He makes Gilligan look like Stephen Hawking. Life must be tough for this degenerate, to have to put so much thought into what to watch. Carlo shrugs. "Whatever, up to you." Dana gives him a coy smile. "Actually, I think I have something else in mind first." That's his cue. They both rip their pants off, and in seconds, he's on top of her. Once the moaning and grunting ceases, I walk back upstairs and into the bedroom. Dana is in bed, naked, staring at her phone. The door to the bathroom is shut. I glide through the closed door to find Carlo, naked and sweaty, sitting on the toilet. I step forward and stand directly in front of him, glaring down at him while he sits comfortably after his long fuck session with my wife. He scrolls through his phone with one hand and picks his nose with the other. He pulls out a big chunk of snot, looks over it, and flicks it onto my floor. It's amazing how basic principles of cleanliness go out the window when you think no one else is around. Even more so when it's not your home. He stands up and saunters past me to the sink. After flexing his chest in the mirror a few times, he opens the drawer and shuffles through it before pulling out a toothbrush. He hesitates when something catches his eye in the drawer. Reaching in, he pulls out a necklace with a small locket. His hands clench into fists. He opens the heart-shaped locket to reveal a small photo of Dana and me on our first date. I'd known it was a cheesy gift when I'd given it to her, but the deal was that she would have to wear it at least once a month, or there would be some unspecified silly punishment that she would have to face. It was a fun little inside joke that we had until about a year ago, when it came to the end of the month. I had gleefully called her out on not having worn it that month, thinking she had just forgotten. Without so much as looking at me, she just shrugged and told me she had lost it. Now I see that she had it stashed in the drawer. I watch as Carlo stares at the picture for a moment, scoffs, and tosses the necklace into the garbage, throwing a few sex-stained Kleenexes over top to conceal it. When he turns around, I lunge towards his throat. Surprisingly, my hand hits resistance. My nails dig into his skin as I squeeze his throat tightly. I feel my lips twist into a sinister smile as I watch his eyes bulge with surprise and his mouth fall open in shock. He grabs at his throat, but he isn't sure what he's grabbing at. I lean in close and say through gritted teeth, "Get out of my house." I feel his sweaty flesh start to slip in my hand until my fingers slide right through it. My hands clasping back into a fist as I fade back to my side of reality. Stunned, he breathes heavily, rubbing his throat with one hand and reaching out tentatively with the other, feeling around for his invisible attacker. His hand slices harmlessly through my chest. He stares a moment longer and then marches out of the bathroom. I follow him back into the bedroom and watch him scuttle into the bed beside Dana. "What's wrong?" she asks, noticing his obvious anxiety. "Something fucking attacked me or something," he says, rubbing his neck again as if trying to rub away the memory of my hand on his throat.
What? When?
Just now, in the fucking bathroom.
Dina tries to pull his hand away from his neck to look at it.
What, like a bee or something?
No, not a bee, like a person, I think.
Dana starts to grow agitated.
A person? In the bathroom? What are you talking about?
Carlo sits for a moment, trying to gather himself. Dana opens her mouth to press him again, but he speaks first, blurting his words out quickly.
I don't know if you believe in, ghosts or that kind of shit, but I swear that your dead husband just tried to choke the shit out of me in the bathroom, and he told me to get out of his house.
Dina's face is a combination of disgust and astonishment.
You can't be serious.
Carlo simply looks at her, his face twisted, terrified, like he had seen a vision of his own impending death. Dana grabs his shoulder, gripping it so hard that big, bad Carlo flinches.
All right, I know we agreed to never talk about this after what happened,
she says, staring intently into his eyes.
But you probably just have a guilty conscience or something. Your mind is playing tricks on you.
Guilty conscience? Were they seeing each other before I died? What the hell is this? I get closer so I can look them in the eyes as they speak. Because of what we did? Carlo says, looking at Dana with an almost childlike expression.
We did it so we could be together. He was an asshole. He deserved to die, and I don't regret for a moment ending that asshole's life.
Memories come flooding back to me. I had been sick at the end. The doctors couldn't pinpoint it. They had theorized some type of poisoning. They were investigating my workplace to see what kind of chemicals I worked with, but my wife and this dipshit were the real culprits? My first thought is, between her recklessness and his stupidity, it's only a matter of time until they get busted. However, the wheels of justice turn slowly, as they say. Now that I know what's possible with my own hands, I might as well deal out some justice myself. My mood is certainly dark enough. I stomp to where Carlo sits on the bed. My rage has allowed for a return of my reach to the other side. I grab him by the hair and pull him to his feet. Dana's chaotic screams fuse with Carlo's confused grunts of protest as I drag him over to the open window and I throw him through it, knocking the screen out with his head. I hear a brief, final, horrified shriek as he falls to his end from the second-story window. Wasting no time, I run to Dana, who is now crouching in the corner, holding her knees to her chest and wailing. I need to be quick. Who knows how much time I have until my reach to the side fades. Snatching a fistful of hair, I drag her to the window. I can hear the hair tearing from her scalp as I yank one way and she the other. Hauling her up to face me, I look into her eyes. Her screams halt just for a moment, and a glint of horrified recognition appears in her wide eyes. Despite everything, I always loved you, I whisper. I throw her out of the window with all my strength. Her end, like the rest of her life, is loud. Her shrill screech pierces through the night air and she lands with a sickening thud on the concrete pad below. End. Hey, you. Yeah, you. I know I'm always scaring you to sleep, but let me let you in on a little secret. I myself have had trouble sleeping my entire life. I've got all kinds of stuff going on. I'm a light sleeper, I have a bad back, an overactive imagination, anxiety. If you look up bad sleeper in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of me, wide awake, staring at my ceiling, wondering what's going on with the Large Hadron Collider. So, when I heard about Brooklyn bedding, my interest was piqued, and then I spent a few nights on the Titan Plus Elite mattress, and now instead of lying awake with the horrors of the world, I'm wooing hot celebrities in my dreams. I'm waking up refreshed. I'm giving my sleep paralysis demon the middle finger. Brooklyn Bedding knows sleep isn't one size fits all. That's why they offer mattresses for every body, every sleep style, even in hard to find sizes. Sleep hot? I sure do. And now you know more about me. Well, Brooklyn Bedding uses Glaciotex covers, copper-infused foams, and thermoregulation-coated foams to help keep you cool and comfortable all night long. Not sure you can take my word for it? I get it. But Brooklyn Bedding has been awarded the best mattress by CNET and best hybrid mattress by Wirecutter, so you know it's the real deal. Brooklyn Bedding also offers a 120-night comfort trial. Love it, or they'll help you return it or swap it hassle-free. Go to brooklynbedding.com and use my promo code SCARE at checkout to get 30% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. That's brooklynbedding.com and promo code SCARE for 30% off site-wide. Support my show and please let them know I sent you after checkout. That's brooklynbedding.com, promo code SCARE. Today's episode is presented by A24's Undertone, in theaters on March 13th. This is the scariest movie you'll ever hear. It follows the host of a popular paranormal podcast who becomes haunted by terrifying recordings mysteriously sent her way. The feature debut of writer-director Ian Dawson has left critics raving. Bloody Disgusting's Joe Lipsett wrote in his 4.5 skull review, "I can't remember the last time a movie made every hair on my body stand up, but Undertone got me good." Hear for yourself and experience Undertone in theaters Friday the 13th. Get tickets now. And last but certainly not least is a story I would like to let you know you should maybe check the trigger warnings about if you are in need of those at times. This has a few heavy ones, but if not, then that's fine too. Dealer's choice. This is by another beloved returning author to the show, Matthew N. Clark. This is Cut. My father was fixing the roof when he fell off a ladder and impaled himself on the wrought iron fence. I saw his intestines burst out like slippery pink snakes. I saw the muscle and viscera beneath. I saw the blood surge out. I saw the impossible whiteness of his ribs, heard his cries, more like an animal than a man. I was 9 years old. I couldn't talk for months after the incident and had to go to therapy for a decade. My mother raised me alone and didn't remarry. My own guilt and horror at being absolutely powerless to help my father led to an obsession with human anatomy. In my understanding of the body, I sought control. I became fascinated in all manner of life. What made it go? How did it all work? As a young teen, I stalked insects in my garden and gazed at many under a magnifying glass. I spent hours examining their minute details. Their legs wriggled and antennae twitched. I was fascinated by their tiny size. by how the magnifying glass turned such small, insignificant things into preternaturally bizarre creatures. Recently, I completed my PhD and started my postdoc in a lab that uses worms as a model to study molecular genetics. We were specifically investigating mechanisms which control cell division. I was inspecting worms for fungal contamination under a stereo microscope when I noticed a small tear in the finger of my glove. I saw a dark liquid well up underneath. It was blood. Had I cut myself? I didn't feel anything. Curious, I peeled off my nitrile glove. The inside was stuck to my finger by dried blood, and pulling it off was painful. I had a cut on the tip of my index finger. It was close to my nail. I put my hand under the microscope on the lowest magnification. I looked through the oculus and saw the cut loom large and appalling. I suddenly recalled all those days inspecting insects in my yard. I felt a visceral pleasure seize me. I picked up the tweezers, I flamed and sterilized them, then I probed the wound. I used the tweezers to spread it, revealing the pink underneath. I was mesmerized. The microscope turned my flesh into an alien landscape. My eyes swiveled toward my thumb. I wonder how far the dark flesh reached beneath that freckle. Without thinking, I reached for the scalpel. Then I cut into my thumb. I examined the muscle beneath. Nothing unusual there. The pain hardly registered. I became entranced by hangnails on my other hand. I tugged at the small flaps of flesh. Pain stung my fingers as I used the tweezers and pulled. I continued to examine the red meat underneath. I reveled in the horrendous wonder. It was so forbidden, always around us but never seen. When I finally came out of my trance, it was dark outside. Everyone was gone for the night. I suddenly realized what I'd been doing. What the hell had I been doing? I looked at my fingers. They were covered in cuts. I felt hot pain radiate through my hands. I used napkins to clean up the crimson spots from the microscope and bench. I went to our first aid box and used most of the plasters we had. My commute home was cold. Rain pelted my face. When I got home, my flat was warm and filled with the smell of freshly cooked onions, garlic, and various spices. My wife Susan had made bean soup, and we sat at the table and had a long chat. I dipped large pieces of fresh-baked bread into mine. It was delicious. I felt my stress melt away. I had soon forgotten all about my cutting incident. When Susan noticed my bandaged fingers, I said I'd accidentally burned them while handling boiled agar. One afternoon, I was walking in a nearby park when I noticed a hedgehog squeaking and running through the bushes. As the week progressed, I saw the same hedgehog around the park often and grew fond of it. Then a few days later, my heart sank. I saw the hedgehog lying dead in the grass. It was drizzling, and I pulled the hood of my rain jacket tighter. As I kneeled, I frowned. The hedgehog had no obvious signs of trauma. A dark curiosity settled in my chest. How had this creature died? What were the anatomical mechanisms that had failed? I felt a need grow. My breathing came out of my nose in quick gusts. I felt my heart beat faster. I was getting excited by the prospect of learning how this poor creature died. I needed to know. The same intense mania I had experienced previously now mixed together with this new fascination. I knew it was forbidden, but I did it anyway. I used leftover napkins from lunch to wrap up the fragile body of the little creature. My office was dark and empty as I entered. I walked through into the laboratory and disinfected the surface of my bench. I wiped it dry and laid down paper towels. Then I gently placed the body of the hedgehog. I felt a familiar, impulsive heat start in my head. An urge rose in my chest. A curiosity grew. My fingers trembled as I picked up the scalpel. I hesitated. This was wrong. But why? Why was it wrong? The poor creature was already dead. And I need to understand what happened to it. How did it die? Why would it die? This poor little thing. I suddenly saw my father, bleeding and ripped in half. He reached out to me, gurgling. I should have been smarter, been better. I could have saved him if I had had the expertise, the knowledge of the flesh, how it worked, how it fitted together. Before I realized it, I was cutting. It only took a few minutes before I noticed. The hedgehog had been pregnant. Within its abdomen, I found 3 partially formed hoglets. They were cold and smelled of old meat. I held them gently. Tears formed in my eyes. Nature is cruel. I put the hoglets down and continued. My fingers shook from excitement. As I made my examination, I took pictures with my phone. There was a lot I would like to review later. I needed to remember this. I checked the organs systematically. At the end of my examination, I found that the most probable cause of death was a parasitic infection called lungworm, which is most common in urban areas. After the autopsy, I carefully disposed of the body and cleaned the bench. My curiosity had been fed for now. I suddenly realized that I had been doing my examination for over 3 hours, and it was close to midnight. I felt my senses return. What had I done? I was no veterinarian. What was I doing? If my boss found out what I had been doing, it could mean the end of my job. When I got home, Susan was annoyed. I had not replied to her messages, and the food she had made for me was cold. I could not stop thinking about the hedgehog. I couldn't get the thrill of the dissection out of my head. I found myself looking at my autopsy pictures more and more. It was like witnessing a horrifying car crash. One evening, while at home, my wife walked quietly behind me while I pored over the photos. She was wrapped in her dressing gown, fresh from the shower.
What on God's green earth is that?
She bellowed. I jumped from fright, my face suddenly turning burgundy red from embarrassment. It's from an autopsy I did. You see, I found this hedgehog in the park. I continued explaining what I'd done. At first, Susan stood still. Then, in a calm, dangerous voice, "This isn't normal behavior, George.
My dear, this is sick. I'm really worried. You can talk with me about anything, but I think you should get professional help."
I looked down at my toes, ashamed. Then I looked up at her. Her eyes were soft with concern. She reached out and took my phone from me. I did not resist. She scrolled through the rest of the pictures.
My God. These are fucking awful. Why would you do this? You have to delete them.
I did as she asked and promised I would make an appointment with a therapist as soon as possible.
I was thinking how well she had taken everything when she sank into our sofa
and slowly put her head in her hands. Then she lifted her head, her eyes streaming with tears, and put her hand in her dressing gown pocket. She pulled out a pregnancy test. A positive pregnancy test. My eyes grew wide. She murmured, "I was coming through to tell you about this, and instead I find you ogling dissected hedgehogs."
You can imagine why I'm horrified right now. What else have you been up to? What other secrets are you keeping? Did you hurt any animals?
I felt my stomach grow heavy with guilt.
There isn't anything else, I swear. And I've not hurt anyone or any animal.
I felt horrible. I sat down next to her and hugged her tightly. At first, she did nothing. Then, she hugged me back.
Please, you need to get this sorted out. I can't deal with this shit right now. I can't have a child with someone who doesn't look after themselves,
she said softly. I felt shame sting me.
I promise I will sort myself out. I'm so sorry. Please, don't worry,
I replied. I stroked her hair softly as I said,
"Wow, we're going to be parents."
I couldn't help but smile. At first, I was resistant to go back to therapy. But that very same night, I found myself obsessing over the new life that grew inside Susan. Sweat beaded my forehead as I thought of the pregnant hedgehog. I found myself daydreaming about opening Susan up, lifting the fetus out, dissecting the flesh beneath to finally understand where life lies. I didn't want to hurt her or the baby. I'd put the embryo back unharmed. But the urge to understand was extreme. As the compulsion grew, I realized I desperately needed help. Soon, I went to therapy and felt much better. My therapist was empathetic and helped me manage my obsessions. Susan and I were happy with my progress, and the pregnancy was going well. We had 7 months with no issues. Then, one evening, I was woken up by my wife. She was screaming. The bed felt warm and wet. Blood. It was blood. Scarlet stains covered the bed sheets, and instantly I was on my feet. Susan was crying in pain and terror. I immediately called an ambulance, and they arrived within less than 2 minutes. I spent an eternity in the waiting room, shivering in my pajamas in that cold hospital. The air stank of sterile iodine. Then the doctor came out, still in his scrubs, to tell me, "I'm sorry, sir. We did everything we could. We're not sure what happened yet, but our best guess is she must have suffered a severe hemorrhage. We'll know more after an autopsy." My face was numb, but I tasted salty tears as they ran down my face. I felt like I was only a pair of eyes floating in the air. I heard my own voice echo out hollow. "What? But that can't be. She was fine. She was fine. Can I see her? I need to figure out what happened. I'm a scientist. Let me do the autopsy. Let me see if I can fix her. I can fix her." The doctor's sad eyes glanced down, and he mumbled,
I'm sorry, but we have to... I struck him directly in the jaw, and he collapsed. I did not hear the yell from a nearby orderly as I sprinted into the operating theater. The room was small, with lime green walls. The air was frigid here, and the only entrance was a steel double door. I rushed inside, pushed the doors open. There she was, lying calmly on the operating table, sleeping. She was sleeping. The nurses were startled by my presence. I grabbed them roughly and hurled them out of the room. Alone now, I locked and barricaded the doors using the stainless steel chairs. I straddled my wife's corpse and began to dissect. She couldn't be dead. There had to be something in her that I could fix. The ruptured artery, the hemorrhage. I could fix it. Then give her a simple transfusion. Yes, that would be easy. I could fix this, and my unborn boy, I could fix him too. The image of the hedgehog filled my mind as I cut the cold lump of flesh that was my underdeveloped baby from my wife's womb. I cut at him. His organs were so small. Blood and amniotic fluid spilled everywhere. I could only faintly hear the banging on the door. The compulsion to understand the flesh was all that existed. The image of my father's corpse swam in my mind. He and the hedgehog. I had been useless. I could not save either of them. I had spent my life studying how life works. What was the point of all that knowledge? What was the point of all these hospitals and doctors if she's dead? If there's no way to figure out where death happens and why it can't be done, what lies beneath the flesh? What had failed exactly? Why was she sleeping like this? I needed her to wake up. I dissected more. I sobbed as I cut her heart. It showed obvious signs of stress, but no. This hadn't killed her. I examined her liver and stomach and intestines. No, and no. Then I started to laugh. A high-pitched, horrible laugh that sounded more like a hyena than a person. I realized that when my wife woke up, she would need her heart and her liver and her intestines and her child. Maybe if she borrowed some of my organs. After all, mine were still functioning quite well. I placed the sleeping baby back inside her womb. I carefully stitched the amniotic sac and outer layers of flesh from the failed cesarean section. As the door to the operating room was rammed by police, I turned the blade on my own abdomen and started to cut.
Thanks for listening, and thank you to my two authors this week, Jay Adair and Matthew N. Clark. Again, both returning authors. I love both of their work, and I'm so glad to see them back. Let me know in the comments or on social media how you felt about these stories. What do you think? I love interacting. I've gotten over my fear of comments, so I've been delving in and reading especially your Spotify comments. So I appreciate those, and YouTube. I get a good amount of YouTube comments as well, because this is also on the YouTube podcast player, but it just shows up on my YouTube channel. It's not a perfect system, but what are you gonna do? So if you'd like more of the show, you can of course go to patreon.com/scareyoutosleep for bonus episodes, and you can get ad-free episodes there as well. You can follow me on social media. You can follow the show at scareyoutosleep, and you can follow me personally at Shelby B. Novak. And I posted some pictures from the screening I hosted the other night with my friend Michael Rothman from Halloweenies and Losers Club. And it was so much fun. And Sean William Scott is as kind and funny and amazing as you would hope he is, just so you know. And I met one of you there. I don't know if I got your name in all the chaos. For those who, if anyone else was there and I didn't get to see you, there was a little bit of chaos at the end. There was some merch stolen. It was crazy. But I did meet one of you and get to take a picture with you, and it was so lovely meeting you. It just made my night, which is crazy because I got to meet Sean William Scott, but I think that was the highlight of my night, is getting to meet someone who listens to the show. It just really, I don't know, brightened my day, and it was a very, very long day. So thank you for being such a great cap at the end of my day. I apologize for the sirens, by the way. I usually try to record around them, and it has been Siren City tonight. It is a Friday night, so that makes sense. Let's see what else. What do I usually say? Baking corner? Is this where I do that? I still had some chocolate chip cookie dough frozen in my freezer. Of course it's frozen in my freezer. Where else would it be frozen at? And so I made a couple of those, and that was the extent of my baking this week. I had a pretty packed, busy week, but I'm very excited. I'm going to meet a new friend tomorrow who I've never gotten to really hang out with, and we're going to go thrifting and go to a coffee shop, and maybe this weekend I'll bake something more exciting than the frozen cookie dough I already had in my fridge. I did make the cookie dough, so I did make it all from scratch. It's just, 2 weeks ago me made it, or whenever I made it. I don't even remember. I try to put dates on it, but it's kind of a moot point, because if I make cookie dough and throw it in my freezer, it's not like it's going to be in there for over a year or something. Okay, I think that's all. Go check out my other ventures on the Bloody Disgusting podcast. We did a fun one recently where we added up, or our sponsor is a wealth advisory company. They added up what the insurance payouts would be for all of the rich dead people in Ready or Not, the first one. And over on Lady Killers, our Woman in Black episode came out. Rebecca came out, which was a little controversial. We got a little pushback on our opinions of the movie Rebecca. So go listen. Tell me what you think. I go pretty hard on Lady Killers. It's a lot of fun. It feels like a book club, because I love all of them, and I don't know, it just feels like a fun place where I really get to go hard on some of these movies. And so yeah, Lady Killers, the Bloody Disgusting podcast. We're really trying to grow the Bloody Disgusting podcast, so if you watch it on YouTube, that would be super. If not, then don't. I'm not telling you what to do. Just, a little reminder out there. Couldn't hurt to put it out there. And I believe that's all, and I will let you go and enjoy your weekend. And I hope you have a wonderful evening and a wonderful weekend. I genuinely love you so much. Please, please drink your water and go get some sleep. Sweet dreams.